Hello friends, today we are going to see about investment concepts. Let me tell about myself. I am Shanmuga Sundaram. I am online teacher, delivering courses at visaiq.com. This class comes under my course, but I felt this is important class, so I am sharing it with YouTube and other media. Please friends, if you find this class interesting and if you like this class, please hit like button and also go through about my course at visaiq.com, whose address is there in the below mentioned link. In between the class, if you have any doubt, please note it down and send me mail regarding the doubt. My mail ID is given in the below mentioned link. Okay, we shall enter into the class. The prerequisite for this class is just understanding elementary mathematics and elementary English. This class mainly deals about investments, so I think you guys will find it interesting. This class is common to all persons regardless of their profession, because everyone wants to invest their money to get better returns. So, investment is a vast area. If you want to cover it, I may take 2 years full-time course, because we have to do some fundamental analysis, balance sheet analysis, technical analysis. Many concepts are there under investments. But in this small class of duration almost 1 hour, we shall see about two important things, risk and return, which forms the basic introduction to investments. By investments, we mean we are investing the amount. It may be fixed deposit, real estate, gold, share market, business, anything. But basically investment is different from saving, because saving is just keeping our money without spending or keeping our money in a bank deposit. But investment is a broad term which includes all kind of investments including business. Why we are investing? To get better profit than bank return, that is fixed deposit return. Then, so while investing in a term like real estate or share market, we should fix whether it will give more return than the bank. By return we mean profit percentage. For example, if bank fixed deposit tells 9% return, it means if I invest 200 rupees, after 1 year I will get 218 rupees. That is 9% for 100 rupees. So here return is 9%. If at the same time, if I invest 200 rupees in a share market, based on some analysis, some expert suggestion, some past history, if I found, I may get 210 rupees, 240 rupees, 250 rupees. These three possibilities are there. If it's so, I have to add 3 and add all the 3 times and divide by 3. That is arithmetic mean. I have to take the arithmetic mean of all 3 possibilities and I have to see whether the return is more than the bank return. This is return. Return is just arithmetic mean. But what is risk? Risk is also one statistical jargon that we shall see later. While choosing the investment decision, while we should to go for fixed deposit or gold or business or share market, not only return is important, risk is also important. There should be less risk and more return. What is meant by this, we shall see slightly later. Now, we shall start from probability, because I want to start from the point which you are familiar with. So, let's go for probability. As already mentioned, I want to start from where you know. Okay? In probability, first thing, I think you people know something about probability. What is probability? Probability is just a chance. How many chances there to get such events? For example, if I flip a coin, I may get head or tail. How possibly I will get head? How possibly I will get tail? Head has off chance, tail has off chance, because both are equally likely. I mean, both sides, I may get any one of the side. So, While tossing a coin, there is a 0.5 probability to get head, 0.5 probability to get tail. Okay? So, we shall conclude by telling the probability should lie between 0 and 1. It should not be less than 0, it should not be more than 1. Practically, the probability should not be equal to 0 and 1 because if the probability is 0, that event won't happen. If probability is 1, that event will happen. So, no probability. If it is 1, it is not a probability, it is certain event. But in theoretical cases, we will come across the value of probability as 0 and 1 because of its applications. So, let us tell the probability value will lie between 0 and 1. Okay. Next. Here is the question. I am telling if I toss a coin, I will get 0.5 probability of head, 0.5 probability of tail. According to this, if I flip the coin 10 times, how many heads, how many tails I should get? That is, I should get 5 heads and 5 tails. But in practice, whether I will get this? Please think. Just think. Probability is practical or just theoretical? Answer this. You may not. You may not. That is, if you flip a coin 10 times, you may get 5 heads, you may get 5 tails. But if it won't be the case in all times. You may get 9 head, 1 tail. You may get 10 tails also. So, we can't tell the probability is true in practice. Then why should I leave probability? Is it useless? Just think. It may seem to be useless, but it is not useless. Because to your surprise, probability has lot and lot of applications in communications theory, investments, data analytics, etc. Probability is the most important tool to predict the uncertain future. Not that word uncertain because the future is uncertain. We can't tell about the future. In communications theory, taking Fourier transform, sending the signal from one source to other source, the signal path, everything depends on the base probability. Even to take the Laplace Fourier transform, so we are using probability values to send the data, signal processing. In investments, needless to tell, how probably I will get, or if I am investing 200 rupees in a share market, how probably I will get 220, how probably I will get 210, how probably I will get 230. There may be equal probability, or I may get, there are more chances for me to get 230 rupees than to get 220 rupees. So here the probability plays major role. Data analytics, it's the subject of probability itself, because analytics is a new area which will have enormous scope. As IT had late 90s due to technological improvement, IT grown like anything in the late 90s. In the similar way, analytics will grow. The analytics basic concept is history will repeat. We are seeing the data, past data, and with the data we are predicting how the future will be. Here the probability is the king. It plays a major role. Now you should have this question. How? Probability is not at all practical. We saw only it is theoretical. The probability concept we can't take into practical way. Then how it is used in practical? This question you should ask yourself. Here comes the answer. See guys. If you flip a coin 10 times, according to probability you should get 5 heads and 5 tails. But it is not the case. But listen carefully, very important. If you flip the coin 10,000 times, according to probability, you will get 5,000 head, 5,000 tail. In practical, you will get it. Approximately you will get 5,000 heads, approximately you will get 5,000 tails. If you have doubt, please take a coin, flip it 10 times, note down how many head you got, how many tail you got. It won't be 5:5. It may be 4, 6, 7, 3, 2, 8 or 10, 0 also. Flip the coin 100 times or note it down. It may be around 40 to 60% head, 40 to 60 tail. It may be more or less same. If you increase this, at last it will converge. This term is called weak convergence because if n increases, number of trials increases, the original value will approach to probabilitical value in approximate manner, not in real manner. Even at 10,000 times, we can't tell we will get 5,000 heads, 5,000 tails, but we shall tell approximately 5,000 heads, approximately 5,000 tails in most of the time. So, if the experiments are large, the practical value will be almost equal to theoretical probability. Okay, now, normal distribution curve. I think you guys know about the bell curve, isn't it? Just to see. Apology for the improper diagram. Actually, this is not bell curve, but in this way, the bell curve will be like this. That is, more values in the between, and if you go later, the values will be very less. But it is only for continuous distribution. Flipping a coin is discrete distribution. But according to weak convergence theory and according to the practical thing what I mentioned, if you flip the coin 10,000 times, then you will get 5,000 heads and 5,000 tails. What is 5,000 heads, 5,000 tails? That is the probability, that is the mean. That's here. The center point. So the center point has lot more value than the latter points. If you are confused about this, I think some of you must have understood what I am telling. Many of you may not understand what I am telling. So, just take your pen and note and do the simple sum. Compute the mean and sample space for coin flipped 2 times and 3 times. Please do it now. That is, if we are flipping 2 coins, what is the mean? That is, you may get head, you may get head tail, you may get tail head, you may get tail tail. Each of probability 0.25 each. So if you compute total probability, there is a 0.5 probability to one head, one tail, because here 0.25, here 0.25. So probability is 0.5 probability to one head, one tail, 0.25 to 2 heads, and 0.25 to 2 tails. But in the according to basic probability, we should get one head and one tail. We should get one head and one tail. This one, we should get this one. So this is the basic probability value. But it has only 0.5 chance. If you flip the coin 3 times, if you flip the coin 3 times, what you will get? H, 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 R, H, H, T, R, H, T, T, R, H, T, H, R, T, H, T, R, T, T, H, R, what is the T, H, H, T, H, H, and T, T, T. Each of the probability 1 by 8. 1 by 8 each. What according to the central probability, according to the probability central thing, for 3 times, we should get 1.5 head and 1.5 tail. 1.5 head and 1.5 tail. So, if you see here, 3 heads has 1 by 8 probability. 3 tails has 1 by 8 probability. What is the probability for 2 heads and 2 tails? This is 2 head. This is 2 heads. This is 2 heads. So 2 by 8 probability. For 2 tails, this one. So 2 by 8. For 1 tail, it is 1 by 8. For 1 head, it is 1 by 8. So what you according to probability, we are getting the probability very close to each other. For example, if you flip the coin 4 times, you should get 2 heads, 2 tails, and the probability value will be somewhat closer to this. For example, here the expectation is 1. Expectation what is NP, number of experiments into probability value. 2 into 0.5, that is 0.5 here. 3 into 0.5, that is 1.5 here, 4 into 0.5, that is 2 here. If you flip the coin 10 times, that is 5. You will get 5 heads, 5 tails, that is expectation. So, if the number of experiments increases, the probability value to expectation also increases. Here it is 0.5, here it is more than 0.5. If you flip 4 times the coin, it will be still more. So at last, if the experiment is a large one, the mean value will be very high if n goes large. So it will approximately follow normal distribution. Very simply, if we are flipping instead of 4 coins, 30 times. If you are flipping a coin 30 times, it will follow approximately normal distribution. Okay, I think now you must have understood, most of you. Till some of you might not understand this, I will clear in later part of the slides. Difference between probability distribution and frequency distribution. Probability distribution versus frequency distribution. Probability distribution is frequency distribution. Frequency distribution tells data 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4. Here we shall tell 1 has 1 frequency, 2 has 2 frequency, 3 has 3 frequency, and 4 has 1 frequency. This is frequency distribution. But probability distribution is slightly opposite. We will tell about future. Frequency is past. Frequency distribution is past, but probability distribution is future. Okay. Frequency will tell about the past, but the probability will tell about the future. In this case, if the same case occurred in probability means what we will tell, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 data. 7 data, out of 7, 1 may occur one time. That is, one probability distribution is 1 by 7. Part 2, probability distribution may occur 2 times. That is, probability distribution for 2 is 2 by 7. For 3 it is 3 by 7. For 4 it is 1 by 7. If you count all the probability distribution, it should come 1. This is the difference between probability distribution and frequency distribution. Now you see in the bell curve, what is this and what is the y-axis? What is the x-axis? What is the y-axis? X-axis is nothing, just the distribution. I mean the data. This data 1, 2, 3, 4. That is x-axis. Y-axis is this value 1 by 7, 2 by 7, 3 by 7 is y-axis. This 1, this 2, this 3, this 4 is x-axis. The left hand side is y-axis. So, the random variable comes on the x-axis. For example, if you are flipping a coin and 1 comes here, the probability distribution according to this is 1 by 7. The 1 by 7 will come somewhere around here. 1 is here, 1 by 7. If it is 2 by 7 will come here. Then you have to plot this curve. That is probability distribution curve. This is a probability distribution curve which tells mean. Here is the expectation and mean will be very much higher. That is, the central value will have more probability. As the y-axis is this thing, right hand side, the center will have more probability, and if we go at the edge, the probabilities are becoming very less. It approaches 0 almost. So if we flip the coin 10,000 times, we have possibility 5,000 is to 5,000. That is 0. Expectation is 0. 50%. See, if you are flipping a coin, 50% you will get 5,000 heads, 5,000 tails. That probability is very high. At the last, we may get 9,900 heads and 100 tails. That probability is very, very low. So this is the significance of bell curve. Very important probability. Very important part which comes afterwards. Very, very important in both statistics, engineering and investments, finance. Now shall we go to the next slide? This frequency polygon. As I already mentioned, this is the value of x, that is the left hand side 1, 2, 3, 4, and y axis the number of frequencies the value can occur is here. If 35.5 has occurred 5 times, 6 times, it will come here. 45.5 has occurred 25 times, 55.5 has occurred 20 times, 65.5 has occurred some 7 times, 75.3 has occurred 3 times. So this is the frequency distribution. The curve connected this is frequency distribution curve. If the same way, if the future as the probabilitical value and its curve, that is called probability distribution curve. If it is well, it is a normal distribution curve. So now I think almost all of you must have understood the concept probability in a more researched way. That is, up to now you people must have read your probability from 10th standard itself. But I don't know how many of you learnt it in this way. You people must have memorized the formula and applied it. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. It won't give you any idea. In practical you will suffer a lot. You may get mark, but you may not get job. Even if you may get job, this is not government job. Today we are in corporate world. If you are not performing well, you may be sent out. So please read in a conceptual view. This is the actual concept behind the bell curve. Now, introduction to probability finished. We shall come again to our topic investments, risk and return. From next slide onwards, we will speak about risk and return with the concepts taken from probability. You know return. Already I mentioned in our introduction. If I am investing 200 rupees, I may get 210, 220, 230. The arithmetic mean of this is return. But what is risk? Please tell me what is risk. Just to think. 1 second. If necessary, pause this video and think 1 second. That is, if you are investing your money in a bank, there is very, very minimal risk. At the most, the Indian government may fail and the full money may not be returned to you. But it is very, very rare. The government won't fail. So, whatever you deposit, whatever they quote 7%, 8%, you will get after 6 months. There is no risk at all or very, very, very minimum risk in bank deposits. If you are going into a share market, the risk, you are incurring the risk. If you are lending your money to some unknown person, you are incurring risk. What is that risk? If you are entering into share market, if you are investing 200 rupees, depending on the market condition, you may get 220 rupees, 230 rupees or 190 rupees also. So uncertainty, uncertain in the return is termed as risk. If you are depositing 200 in FD, you will get, I will get 218 rupees surely. There is no risk in it. If you are telling I may get 190, I may get 210, I may get 220, there is a risk in it. Now, through this tutorial, we will go into see about quantifying the risk. That is, mathematically how could we measure the risk and how we will compare it with the return and how we shall tell which investment is better with the parameter risk. This is more of subjectivity, that is more than mathematics. Mathematics is essential, but apart from that also we should use our common sense to know more about this. Okay. Next slide may require you to do something. If you are not having paper and pen, pause this video, take it and work it out. Find the mean and standard deviation of these two numbers. This is a elementary question. Every one of you must have did. 4, 5, 6. Mean is 5. 3, 5, 7 also mean is 5. But whether the ST is same, standard deviation is same, please calculate it and tell whether it is same. It won't be same. Correct? Why it is different? Because standard deviation tells the dispersion of data from the mean. For example, if you want to cross the river in a village, you don't know about the depth of the river. You are asking a person, what is the depth of this river? If the person tells the depth of this river is 3 feet, average depth. The average depth of the river is 3 feet. Will you tell, I am 6 feet tall, 3 feet means no problem for me, I will go. You should not tell like that, because the average depth is 3 feet. It may, at some point, it may be 1 feet, at some point it may be 10 feet. So there comes the concept deviation. Deviation is dispersion of values from mean. If you take this 4, 5, 6 and 3, 5, 7 sum, let's see the sum. 4, 5, 6. Mean is 5. How to find standard deviation? 4 minus 5 is equal to minus 1. 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. 6 minus 5 is equal to 1. If you take square of these three, you will get 1, 0, 1. If you add the square, you will get 2. 2 by n is 3. This is variance. And if you take square root, this is square root of 2 by 3. The actual value you may use your calculator or Excel and find it is 0.816. Here interesting thing comes. Why we are squaring this? Because without squaring if we had, we will get only 0. Please don't think why I am teaching these concepts. These are very basic. Our school does not teach one thing in the basic, which is very important for finance. So only I am telling all this. So please listen carefully. I know you people know this, but please listen. The next step will come. I am going to ask you a question in the next step. Minus 1, 0, 1. If you add these three, you will get 0. That is the deviation around the mean. The sum of deviation around the mean is 0. So we can't come to a conclusion from this. For example, again if you see here 3, 5, 7, mean is 5, the same thing, the same mean here and here, but SD is 3 minus 5 is 2, 5 minus 5 is 0, 7 minus 5 is 2, so minus 2, 0, 2, if you square these things, 4 plus 0 plus 4, 8, square root of 8 by 3, that is, what is the square root of 8 by 3? 1.633. So here if we add the mean, we will get 0. But here you should ask the question, if we are adding the mean, we are getting 0. Why should not we take absolute value? That is the $1 million question. Why we are using standard deviation? Absolute deviation is better than this. If you take absolute deviation, here you should do modulus of 1, modulus of 0, modulus of 1. That is 1 plus 0 plus 1. 3 by 3. That is 1. So here 0.816 is standard deviation and 3 by 3 is equal to 1 is mean absolute deviation. This seems to be theoretically better than SD. Then why we are using standard deviation? Very interesting question. Please think it before you are seeing the answer in my lecture. Here if you use the mean standard deviation, 2 plus 2, minus 2 will become plus 2. Plus 2 is equal to 4 and 4 by 3. What is 4 by 3? 1.333. 1.333 is mean absolute deviation. What's the reason to use this? What is the reason to use SD instead of mean deviation? Yes, mean deviation seems to be a better distance between the variables. If you plot in a graph, see. Sorry guys, some technical problem. I am sorry. If you plot in a graph, this is a graph, x-axis, y-axis. For this, you will have 4, 5, 6. Then 5 is the mean. The average distance between 4 and 6 is 3 by 3. Oh, I am sorry. This is not 3 by 3, this is 2 by 3. Apologies for the mistake. 0.66. So, this is the mean. If you see the average distance between these two, here it is 1 unit, here it is 1 unit. So, 2 by 3. This tells the exact distance. Then why we are using standard deviation? Our tutorial will answer this. Now, take one different sum. Find mean absolute deviation and FD of first part 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Second part 3, 6, 6, 8, 9, 10. Find the mean absolute deviation and standard deviation. Please pause this video, do it, and tell me. For first case, mean is 7, absolute deviation is 2 and standard deviation is 2.166. Correct? Okay. For second case, mean is 7, absolute deviation is 2 and standard deviation is 2.309. Here is the beauty of standard deviation. Both have different data set, but if you see mean and absolute deviation, we may tell both are same, but actually both are different because standard deviation is different. Because mean deviation just tells the dispersion of value from central. For example, here the mean is, here this is the mean. The average distance between this one and this one to the mean is mean absolute deviation. But the standard deviation, it tells something more than the average distance also. Here, why the standard deviation differs? Because both the average is 7. Here also the average is 7. Here also the average is 7. And see the difference between these data. The 6, 8, 9, 10 is common in both the cases. Only here it is 4, 5. Here it is 3, 6. So, Second case has most standard deviation than first case. This means the distance between 7 and 5 and 7 and 4. What is 7 minus 5 is 2, 7 minus 4 is 3, so total distance is 5. Here 7 minus 6 is 1, 7 minus 3 is 4, total distance is 5. Both are same in both cases. But the 3 is far away from 7 than 4. That is, getting 4 and 5 is better than getting 3 and 6. Understand? Even the average of 4 and 5 is 4.5, 3 and 6 average is also 4.5. The dispersion is more here. So only standard deviation is more. So we can conclude, if standard deviation is more, any one data must be far away from the mean. So here 3 is far away from 7 than 4. So I will tell first one is better than second one in financial angle, because here I may get 4%, 5%, 6%, 8%, 9%, 10% return. But in this case I will get 3%, 6%, 8%, 9%, 10% return. Both have the same expectation 7%. But in this case there is a possibility of 5%, 4% return. But in this case there is a possibility of 3% return. My happiness will be low if I get 4. My happiness will be very low if I get 3. So I am going for first one. Based on standard deviation, I am deciding this. Understand? Very important concept which many of us don't know. So this is very important in finance angle. Please see it. How standard deviation, how the statistics is playing, how the mathematics is playing across its area. Because finance is not mathematics, but this beautiful concept rules over the finance. Understood? Okay. Next, movements. Movements tells movement about first movement is main, second movement is variance, third movement something is there. So if the movement we are speaking more about this kind of data. So movement is somewhat advanced concept. We shall, if you are interested, enroll in my statistical course. We shall speak lot about movements. Here comes the economic utility. Now we shall see how economics plays here. If the return is same in two kinds of investments, whether we could choose any one randomly or choose both or apply any other method. Please think a moment before going to next slide. That is, just read here. These are self-explanatory. I will read. Strictly speaking, that is. Just to see these questions, we will understand, we will answer each question in this tutorial. First, finding customer needs. If you are a financial advisor and if I am coming to you and asking in which scheme shall I invest, you should not blindly tell TCS share is going well, invest there. Yes Bank share is going well, invest there. You should not tell like that. First you should tell for what you need the investments. I may tell my education, my marriage, my daughter marriage, my retirement, or excess of money. House, I want to buy a house. I want to invest in a business after 5 years. I want to start my own company after 5 years. These are the different kinds of needs. So you should first understand what the customer want. Then according to the needs, you should tell which plan is better. First step is identifying customer needs. This is the step 1. After identifying customer needs, what should you do? Just think. You should measure, you should ask him or her about their risk-taking ability. So, if I am aged more than 50, I am coming to you, you are a financial advisor, to advise me. You should tell you are at the age of retirement, please go for risk-less funds. You need not take more risk. Invest your funds in a bank, get interest and lead your life, remaining part of your life. If I am a youngster in my 20s and I am coming to you, you should tell to invest in a somewhat slightly risky manner. Already I saw this concept later, that 4, 6 sum. 4, 6, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. 3, 6, 6, 8, 9, 10. The standard deviation differs. Standard deviation is risk differs because getting 4 is slightly better than getting 3. Just understand the economics concept. If you are hungry, I am giving you one apple. You will be happy. Correct? If you are hungry and if I am giving one apple, you will be very happy. We shall measure your happiness by number. You will be happy, your happiness will be around 50. If I am giving second apple, you will be still more happy, but your happiness level won't be 50, it may be 40. So your total happiness level is 90. That is, if I am giving you first, you are hungry and I am giving you one apple, you will be happy. Say the happiness level is 50. For second apple, you will be happy, but happiness level won't be same because first apple getting you feel very happy. Say it may be 40. So total happiness level for both apples is 90. For third apple, you will be happy, but you won't be that much happy because already you have 2. If I am giving third apple means you will get it, but you may not feel that much excited. So your happiness may be say 30. So total is 120. Your happiness level is. If I give fourth apple, you may not be, you will be less happy. If I give fifth apple, you will be still less happy. But your happiness level will keep on increasing. So if I am giving 100th apple also, you will be still more happy, but there is no big difference. For example, first apple and second apple, you have more happiness level. If I am giving 100 apples and 101th apple, there is no big difference between. If I am giving 1 apple or 2 apple, there is a difference. But if I am giving 100 apple, 101 apples, there is not much difference. So this is utility level. This is economic concept. So utility level won't be 0. It won't be negative. You won't beat me if I am giving more apples. You will be still getting it, but it tends to 0. But after certain level, it may not impress you that much. So utility level, the rate of increase of utility level decreases with numbers. As I keep on giving more and more apple, your rate of increasing in happiness level will decrease. In that way, first apple and second apple, the difference is 40 happiness level. Second apple and third apple, the difference is only 30. So, if you apply the same standard deviation concept, I told no, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 3, 6, 6, 8, 9, 10. That is here. In these two sums, 4, 6, 5, 6, this is better, first case is better than second case because it has less standard deviation. As 4, 5, even the difference between 4 and 5 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 are just 1. There is no big difference between 5 and 6. There is big difference between 4 and 5, but there is very big difference between 3 and 4 because of this utility concept. Now I think all of you understood. If you not understood, please send me mail at my below mentioned mail ID. Please send me the mail. I will clarify you. I may conduct a special free class for you also at wixIQ.com. I am not for super profit. I am just to help my friends. Just it is a social service. Okay? Understood? 4, 5, 6, 3, 6, 6 concept with this apple concept. Your happiness level won't be that much. So, you should ensure the business of your clients, and if your client wants more money, you may like more happiness level, you may ask him to go into a share market, but tell him he may lose more also. So wherever risk is high, return will also be high. But we should choose a scheme which has more return and minimal risk. For example, which is very difficult to measure risk, but I can easily measure return, so I will fix my return. For example, 10%. I want 10%. For that 10%, how much risk I should take? I am taking two options. One option will give 10% return with 2% risk. Second option will give 10% return with 1% risk. I will go for second option because risk is less. So we should go for more mean and less standard deviation. Now we shall enter into next slide, economic utility. That only we saw. If you have any doubts, please send me mail or comment in YouTube itself. That's also a nice thing. Okay, understood? Here our risk return concept ends. Please have a look at it. Please read it through any prescribed textbook or through Google search after this video. Please gain the concepts. If you have any doubts, always feel free to mail me or comment here in the YouTube. Please go through about my course at wisaiq.com. Many free courses, I am providing many free courses, so utilize it. Know why we are using standard deviation instead of absolute deviation, and about utility level, and how utility level is impressed by standard deviation, and how could we tackle these things. Now, I am going to take you through one simple example. Okay, see here. I need money. I have $100. Tell Indian INR, Indian rupees. Foreigners may use your own thing. For okay, I am investing. I am having the concept. After 1 year, first scheme. I am investing in one scheme. After 1 year, I may get 102 or 103 or 107 or 110. Let it be 112. 3 plus 102 plus 107. So it will be easier for calculations. The B is average is 106. I am investing 100 rupees. I am having the two options. For first option, in one share, my return values like this. Average is 106. In other share, the average is 102, 106, 110. The option. So only three options. Here the average is 106. So both have the same return. Which one should I choose? I am asking you. You are a financial advisor. How should you decide? You should decide based on standard deviation. Take both standard deviation and recommend whichever is less for me. This is a more generalized view. Otherwise, if I am slightly educated, you could ask me about my happiness level. How much return I want. I may tell I need 106%. If 106 I am getting, I will be 80% happy. If I am getting 107%, I will still happy, but not very much, because in 106 itself my entire needs satisfied. For 110 amount, I will be some 80. Wait a minute. I will be some 85% happy. For 112, I will be some 87% happy. See, the difference is less because the amount is, if it is this much amount, I will be 100% happy. On the controversy, if I am not getting 106, or if I am getting 103, I will be just 50% happy, because my aim is 106. My need is not satisfied. Because so I am very much difference 50 and 80. I will be very much sad. If I get 110, 1 or 2 rupees, still more I will be depressed. 1 or 2 I can't do anything. So only 30% happy. So you should replace these numbers by happiness level, and you should take the happiness level of this, and you should suggest me the investment option which has more happiness level. For example, first one, take 1 or 2 30% plus 50 80% plus 82. For 1 or 7 it is 82, 162%, and 1 or 12 it is 87. 162 plus 187. What is this? 249. 249 divided by 4, 62.25. So first option gives me First option gives me 62.25% happiness level, but second option gives me how much happiness level? 102. Replace 102 by here 30. Replace 106 by 80. 30 plus 80 110. 110 by 82. 85. So 195. 195 by 3 65 gives me 65% happiness level. So I am going with second option. This is the actual way to calculate. Finding low standard deviation and recommending low one. Happiness level, we should choose the option. This is a pure economical concept, but it has lot of disadvantages because the happiness level can't be measured by numbers. But we can quantify it based on the client's needs. You can ask them. So if it is possible, we could use this. So here our topic ends, risk and return. Now I want to conclude by telling this one. Please see about calculating present value, future value, risk concept in present value, and if you have any doubts in this, send me mail at the below mentioned link. As already mentioned, time value of money is the area where many senior professionals will do very small mistake which leads to drastic results. So here I mentioned some things I found which will be useful, and we should not forget these things while working with time value of money. First one is safe rupee worth more than risky rupee. As we saw in this tutorial, the main this sum. These two sums 4, 5, 6 and 3, 6, 6, and we saw which we should choose where standard deviation is low. So the safe rupee worth than risky rupee. Then the term R. should represent the risk and return displayed by the cash flow numerator. Okay. Just keep doing it, and if you like this video, hit like button and view my courses at isiq.com. Okay, thank you friends.